Welcome to the Naked Relationship Podcast. I'm Adam.
And I'm Kelley.
And we've got something
boring
for you, exactly. Chances are yes. Why? Because we're talking about... What are we talking about today, babe?
We're talking about your need to tell everyone everything about your life.
My life? What are you, country accent now? Like you're talking to your patients at work?
Yeah.
Okay, well, are you focusing on the baby?
No, the thing's moving.
Okay. All right, I'll pause it and we'll get something else up there. All right, so we're actually talking about... So we're talking about coming out, okay? And I don't just mean the... like me coming out to everyone. I'm also talking about the podcast as well. Okay, so it was Pride Month.
When was Pride Month?
June.
Hell yeah. We got a pride flag for Pride Month.
Yeah, and we got the new one too. So I had to ask your youngest sister what some of the stuff on the pride flag meant. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
you didn't know?
Well, like...
They included the trans flag on there with some stripes according to those colors, and they included like other minorities like blacks and like people that are brown. I don't know if I'm saying these things correctly, but I will show a picture of our pride flag.
So basically you're represented on that flag twice.
Yes.
Because you are Hispanic.
Yes.
Okay.
I am brown.
Okay. So it's Pride Month, and I really... like early on, like I felt the need to come out, and I had your support, and I kind of wrote like a long essay, I guess you could say, specifically for coming out that I was going to post on social media, where I talked about how I'm coming out as not only bisexual, but also as in an open marriage, as non-monogamous. And at first before I wrote that, you were kind of like on the fence, like, should you do it, should you not type of deal.
Yeah.
Which I get, completely understandable. But I think the more that you read into that specific thing that I wrote, I think the more you're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to support you. And like I thought, and you're really eloquent, able to describe your feelings in a good way. Like I've always been jealous of that part of you. Like you just know what to say, you say it right. And I'm just like... if I were to do the same thing, it would sound all like jumble garbledness.
Can we back up just like a second? Yeah. You admitted to being jealous.
Whatever. You know what I meant.
In the lifestyle. That's a note. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Anyway, it's just like, I feel like if I can put things into words and kind of not lead off with, hey, I'm bisexual and in an open marriage, and use metaphors and kind of give some reasons, I think that it'll go over better. And
wait. Pause. Do our neighbors know that we're in an open marriage?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa, it just hit me.
Okay. So I decided to do that. And instead of doing it right away, I called my aunt. And my aunt, she is...
Now, give the reason why you called your aunt. You gotta...
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. Like, literally, it was going to be the next sentence. But she's someone who I really value her advice and guidance. I always have. She's always come across as like very wise to me. And basically her advice was, if you feel that's the right move, then do it. Long story short. But, she was super supportive, and, I called her husband, my uncle. I called him and kind of gave him a heads up, and then they were both supportive. My uncle and my aunt were both very supportive of it. They're an older couple, but they are accepting of me in this way, and you too. I feel like
they're more what's the word?
Open-minded.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah, and so that was always cool that was very cool and very rewarding. And so turns out I'm actually getting a little bit ahead of myself. So I forgot.
Yeah,
I forget the order because this is in June. Okay, I'm sorry. So I called.
You pre-warned your family, your mom and dad, basically.
Yes, I pre-warned my mom and my dad. And I called my mom first because she's sentimental and always wants to be number one. I wonder who I get that from, the being sentimental. Anyway, so I called her, but she didn't answer. Okay, so then I called my dad. Of course, he answered, and he's at work. And so I told him. I was like, Dad, I'm bisexual, and I'm in an open marriage. And he's the kind of guy that I could tell him I saw someone naked and be like, I don't want to know. That's TMI. You know, it's very strange. Like I told him one time I took
goes to church with his wife.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily have to do with like sexuality and accepting of that. Like I told him,
just want to paint a picture of what kind of people they are.
Gotcha. Well, I told him one time that I showered with a girlfriend, and he's like, "Son, I didn't want to know that."
Which girlfriend was it?
Anyway,
who was it?
But anyway, and so Dad and I have also had kind of like a strained relationship. He's always put his wife first, even when I was in school. You know, he would always have to run the idea, like plant the idea of me coming over months in advance to his wife, even when I was a kid. Okay. So that's always been a strained relationship. So after I called him and told him, he didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. And he even like told my sister, like apparently, according to my sister, which my sister's words are very not credible, if you will. But apparently according to my sister, he said that because I told him at work, he could have like killed me or something. I forget her exact words, but according to her, he wasn't very supportive, which I don't think. Okay. So then I call Mom eventually. And so then I tell her, and she handled it a lot better. She's like, I just need space to figure this out, because like they're very religious too, but they're not like my dad in that sense. Like they're more open-minded and accepting. You know what I'm saying, babe? I'm just
listening.
And so eventually, like, Mom came around pretty quickly. But Dad, I think we've spoken 3 times since then, it seems like. But it's almost like I'm okay with his reaction, because it's really not a relationship that I feel like I need to pursue. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
And so after that, I called my aunt, my uncle, and did all that. And then I sat around on this penned post that I had ready to go. And then finally, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then I realized the next day was Juneteenth. So I didn't want to take away from that. So then I waited and did it the next week when we were actually in Miami, I believe it was. And so I got a lot of good feedback. A couple people haven't talked to me, but that's okay. And then my grandmother, my nan, my dad's mom of all people, she was like very supportive. She commented on the Facebook post and was like, I'd love you if you were
purple or something.
Yeah, purple or something. Yeah, exactly. And so that was very awesome to read. But I posted this on my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram, all of my personal ones. And so I thought that was a good way to go about it, because I really wanted just to not live in secret anymore. Like, I'm proud of who I is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I got some good feedback from that. The neighbors, when I told them, because I joke around a lot.
Yeah, they don't even believe you half the time like I do.
Yeah.
I don't even believe you.
Well,
shit.
Our one neighbor was like, they both thought I was joking. And he was like, wait, you're telling me you suck a dick? I'm like, yeah. And they started laughing because they were in disbelief. But they know everything. They know that we have a podcast about this. They don't know the name of it. But
God. That's something I forbid you to tell them, okay?
The name of it?
Yeah, the name of it?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But anyway, so they know about that. They know that we're not straight, all that fun stuff. And so then when we're in Miami, we had kind of been talking about, for really the last year, about showing our faces on the podcast.
What? Oh, I'm just like I'm looking at your man cave. Like, I never really thought about it. And I'm just like, oh, it's kind of nice down here. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm like, huh, that's nice. This is you. This describes perfectly you.
What, John Bellion?
Like John Bellion, sitting a ma'am over there, her little dog over there, the bone. There's pictures of me and you and your little nieces. I was like, huh, yeah.
Yeah, and a bunch of Seahawks stuff too.
Sean Alexander Street.
Yeah, Sean Alexander.
Sorry. What was the question?
He was my idol growing up. Anyway, so when we'd been really talking about for like the last year about showing our faces on the podcast.
Yeah, and being more transparent.
Yes. And we had a photographer lined up, and it got rained out because we were going to do an outdoor photo shoot.
Yeah, it got rained out, and then she was really bad at communicating, so I just kind of like let her keep her deposit. I'm like, God, she doesn't seem that great, so. Yeah,
and then we also had a former sponsor offer to pay for it, but the photographer that they had lined up, you just didn't feel...
I didn't feel like it. I didn't like their vibe.
Yeah, like their style or something just didn't mesh with what you wanted. I mean, they were a great photographer, don't get me wrong, but just not the style that you wanted. And so we're in Miami again in June, early July, and I had finally got your okay. And so then I type up a little post. I post it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Maybe not the Facebook, I don't remember.
Now freaked out.
Yeah. And like I posted it after you said, okay. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And 5 minutes later, I do it. Like I even handed you the phone to like proofread it. Mm-hmm. Like I had an Instagram post typed up after I already uploaded the image. I'm like, here, read this before I post it. And you proofread it and you approve it. So then I hit post. I'm like, all right, babe, it's posted. And then you kind of freaked out.
I thought you were going to give me like a warning, like another warning before you were going to post. But you did it. It was fine. Everything ended up fine.
I mean, I literally handed you the phone. My world with it all didn't end. Up. I mean, like you needed like maybe a couple hours to be like, okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go. I don't know. I guess I'm just afraid of people judging me, putting a face to a voice.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. But at the same time, I mean, people are always going to have their opinions and they might not always be positive. But I don't know. It's just kind of, we don't necessarily have to hide behind it in all facets of our life anymore, Whether that's us
I'm more private than you are.
I know. You have a little bit more private parts than I do. Mm-hmm. Because free the nipple.
More roast beef.
I don't know. I do think it's like unfortunate that like I can walk around with my nipples out, but you can't. That's kind of stupid. But anyway, yeah. So how would you say the whole coming out thing went? Because like for me, like on like me coming out to everyone on the personal side, how do you feel like that went? Like what's your feedback?
Yeah, that one was fine. Like I know you're the type of person who likes to be as open and transparent as possible, which is one of the things I do like about you. But like, I am one of those people that doesn't like to share everything with the whole world or even my family. Like I told my aunt and my new soon to be uncle.
And they're both younger than you.
They're both younger than me. And my aunt was like, she was very accepting of it. She's like, if that's what you want to do and it makes you happy, that's totally fine. Do you? I was like, yay. And Adam kind of pushed me to tell him because like even like when we first got here, I was actually on like a little coffee date at the Starbucks here in our city. And my best friend like pulled up at the drive-thru. And she yelled my name through the window. She's like, Kelley. And I was like, oh my fucking God.
But she knows, like she's known
she
from
knows.
Like day one almost.
But like, what if that happened? Like, what if a similar situation happened with my aunt? Like she like found out like
she would call you out.
Yeah, she would have like, the fuck are you doing? That's not your husband.
Yeah.
So I had to tell her, and I did wanted to tell her, want to let her know, but my dad found out.
Well, your dad found out like last year, and we kind of
like my dad knows
about that.
Yeah, my dad knows, my aunt knows, my sister knows. Like people who are important to me, and like I really value their opinion, they know. But other people, like my mother, some of my coworkers, like they don't know.
Yeah, like at your old job, like your previous job, they knew. Some of them knew.
Yeah,
but like your mom, for example, she would be like, "Oh, it's just a phase," or she really just wouldn't understand it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm more of a little closed off in that regard.
Yeah.
And I was really back and forth on you telling our neighbors who were going to live here for years, for years to come, like knowing like I was a little bit like, I don't know. I mean, I don't hang out with them as much as you do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I kind of knew that they'd be like okay with it because the one directly below us, he's fairly open-minded enough to like, we don't agree politically on just about anything, but he's not the kind of be like, oh, well, you're a piece of shit. I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
No, he's going to pick your brain and try to understand why, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then the one across the street, I didn't know it at the time, but he's got friends that are also bisexual. So it was like, it was nice to kind of.
Yeah. Like nice to know, like they're not going to be very judgmental or like harsh or close you off.
Yeah.
Like they're understanding.
Yeah.
So are their wives, which I haven't really hung out with them that much, but they seem nice.
Well, how do you feel about us coming out to the podcast and showing our faces for the first time? Because like, yes, that did happen a little over a month and a half maybe ago.
Mhm.
But how do you feel about that? Because now we're able to do certain things, such as our OnlyFans, such as maybe doing some video podcasts, video streaming, those types of things. So how do you feel about not only the ability to do those things, but how do you feel in general about everything coming out like that?
About the podcast, I feel a lot better. Like now that there has been some time, and we are now kind of recording on a regular schedule again. Like I don't feel like a huge major shift has occurred, but like it's okay. I don't feel like anything drastic has changed.
You know why?
No.
Because I'm still the one doing all the work.
Okay. Well, I'm the one working and paying the bills.
I know. I'm giving you shit. I don't know. Well, you had all of July off, so I was a breadwinner again for a month.
A whole month.
A whole month. I don't know. I mean, doing the OnlyFans is fun and all. And by the way, links to that is in the show notes below. We've got a safe for work and a not safe for work where we actually show nudity.
One paid, one not paid.
Yep. And we also have a Patreon. But yeah, so it's interesting. And I'm glad that, we can share our faces and fun stuff like that, including our sex tapes on VHS, because we are not as young as you think.
VHS. Was that a thing?
I mean, I grew up with a VHS player. Well, anyway, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TNR Podcasts. That is plural. You can find us on Full Swap Radio. You can find us on fullswapshop.com, which is where you can buy our merch. And join us at Podbash. From what I hear, there are a few rooms left, so go ahead and sign up for that. It's in October.
Yeah, you'll get to meet us, hang out with us.
Yeah, there's going to be Brian and Brenna from Front Porch Swingers. There's going to be Swinging Flamingos. There's going to be...
You don't even know.
Oh, man. My mind just went blank. Kinky Frame of Mind is going to be there, and a few other awesome shows, I do believe. So go ahead and sign up for that. Link for that will be in the description below. There's going to be lots of freebies given out, and also there's going to be some amazing gifts happening there, which I am not at liberty to speak of. But if you are in the know, you will be in the Telegram group chat for all members going to Podbash, so we can all kind of establish some chemistry. But anyway, there have been some announcements in there about what is going to be given away at Podbash, so you might want to get on board with that one. It's in Orlando in October. I believe it's the weekend before Halloween. And what else you got going on? Is that everything?
I think that's everything.
All right. Well, in the words of my father-in-law, go Hawks.
Bye.
Bye.